Jungkook couldn't sleep. Not after everything that happened in Tae-hyung's office. Not after that moment, the argument, the closeness, the way Tae-hyung's voice dropped when he whispered his name. He lay curled on the couch in Tae-hyung's apartment, hugging the thin blanket like it was armor. But all he could feel was the ache in his chest. Was Tae-hyung angry at him? Did he go too far? Did Tae-hyung hate being touched? Every thought strangled him like a vine. Meanwhile, Tae-hyung stood outside Jungkook's door. Hand raised. Knuckles hovering. He had been standing there for 11 minutes, unable to knock. Why am I like this? He cursed internally. Why can't I just walk away? Why can't I stop thinking about him shivering in the rain, his voice shaking, his eyes looking at me like I mattered? He finally knocked. Soft. Barely a tap. Jungkook. His voice was low, almost nervous. Are you awake? There was a pause. A long one. Jungkook opened the door slowly, blanket around his shoulders, hair messy, eyes swollen from stress. Tae-hyung's chest tightened so sharply he forgot how to breathe. Jungkook, he swallowed. I didn't come to scold you. Jungkook looked down. I know you don't like me being too close, so I... Stop. Tae-hyung's hand lifted, then hesitated, then gently touched Jungkook's cheek. Jungkook froze. Tae-hyung's voice dropped to a whisper. I never said I don't want you close. Jungkook's lips parted in surprise. You just caught me off guard. I don't usually let people in like that. Why? Jungkook whispered. Tae-hyung exhaled, slow, heavy. Because I've spent years alone. I forgot what it's like to feel someone reaching out for me. Jungkook's eyes softened. Tae-hyung, did I do something wrong? Tae-hyung shook his head. No. You did something I'm not used to. He stepped slightly closer. You cared. Jungkook's cheeks burned red. The blanket slipped slightly off Jungkook's shoulder, revealing smooth pale skin. Tae-hyung pressed his lips together, visibly fighting himself. Jungkook, he murmured, voice strained. Don't look at me like that. How? Jungkook asked softly. Like you trust me. Silence. Deep. Warm. Fragile. Then Jungkook whispered, can you stay with me? Just tonight. Tae-hyung's breath caught. He should say no. He knew he should. But instead, he stepped inside, closed the door behind him, and sat beside Jungkook on the couch, pulling the blanket over them both. Jungkook leaned his head on Tae-hyung's shoulder without thinking. Tae-hyung stiffened, then slowly relaxed, letting Jungkook rest against him. You're warm, Jungkook mumbled sleepily. Tae-hyung's heart almost broke. Go to sleep, he whispered, gently brushing Jungkook's hair aside. I'm here. Jungkook's fingers curled into Tae-hyung's sleeve, gripping lightly as he drifted off. Tae-hyung looked at the boy asleep beside him, and realized something terrifying. He didn't want the night to end. Jungkook woke up slowly, warm, comfortable, wrapped in something firm and steady. It took him 5 whole seconds to realize he was wrapped around Tae-hyung. His head on Tae-hyung's chest. His legs tangled with Tae-hyung's. And Tae-hyung's arm was around his waist, holding him protectively like Jungkook was something fragile. Jungkook froze. His heart exploded in his chest. Oh God, did we really? Tae-hyung stirred. Jungkook almost jumped away, but Tae-hyung's arm tightened, instinctively, pulling Jungkook even closer. Don't, Tae-hyung murmured, half asleep. His voice deep and raspy. Don't run away. Jungkook swallowed hard. I wasn't. Taehyung opened his eyes. And Jungkook died a little inside. No one should look that handsome after just waking up. Hair messy, eyes heavy, voice low. He looked softer than Jungkook had ever seen him. Morning, Taehyung said quietly. Jungkook whispered, Good morning. Taehyung stared at him for a long moment. Too long. His gaze warm, unreadable, dangerously gentle. Then he spoke. You cling in your sleep, he said, lips twitching slightly. Jungkook turned red from head to toe. I do not. Taehyung raised a brow. His fingers brushed Jungkook's waist where Jungkook had been holding him all night. You were hugging me like this, Taehyung said calmly, demonstrating, and Jungkook nearly combusted. Stop showing it, Taehyung chuckled under his breath. And Jungkook froze again because Taehyung didn't laugh like that. He never laughed like that. But with him, he did. Taehyung sat up first. Jungkook, he began, voice suddenly serious, about last night. Jungkook's heart dropped. He regrets it. Of course he regrets it. I shouldn't have. Taehyung gently touched Jungkook's chin, lifting it. Don't make that face. His thumb brushed the corner of Jungkook's mouth without thinking. I don't regret staying. Jungkook's breath caught. But, Taehyung continued. Jungkook's chest tightened. But I want you to tell me the truth, Jungkook stammered. Taehyung leaned closer, eyes locked onto Jungkook's. Why were you out in the rain that night? His voice dropped to a soft, painful whisper. What were you running from? Jungkook froze. His throat tightened. His fingers twisted in the blanket. Jungkook, Taehyung said gently, you don't have to hide from me. Jungkook's eyelashes trembled. But he didn't answer. Not yet. Taehyung reached forward, slowly, carefully, and rested a warm hand on Jungkook's back. I'll wait, he said softly. However long it takes. Jungkook's eyes filled with tears he didn't expect. No one has ever waited for me, he whispered. Taehyung's hand stilled. Then I'll be the first. Silence. Beautiful. Heavy. Jungkook's heart thumped so loudly he was sure Taehyung could hear it. Then Taehyung added in a low tone, just don't run anymore. Jungkook looked up, breath shaking. What if I want to stay? Taehyung didn't move. Didn't blink. Then he whispered, then I won't let you go. Taehyung made breakfast. Not because he was hungry. Not because he liked cooking. But because Jungkook was still sitting on the couch, legs pulled to his chest, looking small and troubled, and Taehyung needed to do something that didn't involve pulling him into his arms. The smell of warm eggs and butter filled the kitchen. Jungkook peeked over, voice tiny. You, Kook. Taehyung glanced back, wiping his hands on a towel. I try. He paused. I usually only cook for people he cut himself off. Jungkook blinked. For people you want? Taehyung ignored the question and placed a plate in front of Jungkook. Ate. Jungkook stared at the food like it was the kindest thing anyone had ever offered him. Thank you, Taehyung, he whispered. Taehyung didn't answer. Because if he opened his mouth, something else might come out. They ate together quietly. Jungkook's fingers brushed Taehyung's by accident as he reached for the spoon. A spark shot through both of them. Jungkook jerked his hand back, face going crimson. I'm sorry. Taehyung caught Jungkook's hand before it could disappear again. Warm. Gentle. Steady. Jungkook froze. Taehyung's thumb brushed over Jungkook's knuckles. You're always flinching, he said softly. You don't have to around me. Jungkook's eyes lowered. Old habits, he whispered. You had a hard life before, Tae-hyung asked quietly. Jungkook didn't answer immediately. He just stared at the spoon in his hand like it held all the memories he wanted to forget. My family never wanted me, Jungkook said finally, voice cracking. I was a burden. An inconvenience. And when I turned 18, they kicked me out. Taehyung's jaw tightened. Hard. Jungkook gave a tiny, broken smile. So when you helped me that night, holding the umbrella over me, giving me your coat, his voice trembled. No one's ever done that. Taehyung's chest burned. Jungkook, he said quietly, look at me. Jungkook did. Slowly. Fearfully. Taehyung lifted his hand, slowly enough for Jungkook to pull away if he wanted, and gently brushed a tear from Jungkook's cheek. You deserve kindness, Taehyung said softly. You deserve a home. You deserve warmth. You deserve everything they didn't give you. Jungkook's lips trembled. Why are you being so nice to me? He whispered. Taehyung inhaled deeply. Dangerously. I don't know, he admitted. But when I saw you in the rain, his voice dropped. Something in me just moved. Jungkook felt his heart pounding so hard it hurt. Taehyung stood up suddenly. I need to go to the office for a few hours, he said, clearing his throat. Will you be okay here? Jungkook nodded, but his fingers grabbed Taehyung's sleeve before he could walk away. Taehyung stopped instantly. Jungkook looked down, voice shaking. Taehyung, please come back. Taehyung's breath left his body. Slowly, cautiously, he turned around. He cupped Jungkook's face with both hands, tilting it up. I will, he whispered. I swear. Jungkook's eyes softened. You promised. Taehyung brushed Jungkook's cheek with his thumb again. I won't leave you, Jungkook. For a moment, they both leaned in, the air between them warm, magnetic, trembling. But Taehyung stopped just before their lips touched. Not like this, he murmured. When you're hurting. Jungkook's eyes widened. Taehyung stepped back, breathing unsteadily. I'll come back, he repeated softly. And Jungkook watched him leave, feeling something he hadn't felt in years, hope.